Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Crooked Pine. What we got here today is a piece of 1-inch PVC pipe that feeds our pavilion with water, and we're going to try to extend that all the way over to the other side where the shop is. And all that stuff can be pressure washed, or the chickens can be watered, or whatever. We're trying to eliminate having a water hose just laying everywhere. So what I got here today is we had to dig a portion of this trench. Reason being is as we go down through here, there's not just that PVC pipe, there are other pieces of pipe that are buried along here. One is a piece of conduit that feeds the electric line. It's right there. PVC pipe's got to go under that. This electrical piece of conduit actually feeds the pavilion as well for the pool and the lights and the fan. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use what is referred to as a subsoiler. And as you can see, I've already ran the subsoiler over the area that we're going to cover. And then, of course, there's some of the roots that were pulled up by the subsoiler. We're going to run it over the subsoil, and I got the pipe laid out beside the location where we're going to put the pipe. I got it laid out so I can put all of the PVC pipe together before we start to drag it through the line. So this is the distance that we've got to cover. And of course, if you don't prep the surfaces like I did at this location, prep the AO, then what you'll see is you got to go past through fence. We had to pull a post down right there, and the idea behind that is so we didn't have to do a lot of digging to go through the fence. It's actually easier to put the post back down than it is to do a lot of digging to separate the PVC. Plus, when you put the PVC pipe together, you don't want any breaks in it. You want as few connections as possible, because usually at the connections, that's where it wants to leak. So as you can see, the way I've got this PVC laid out, they got two types of ends. I got a male and female end, right? This end is the bell-shaped end, which is a female end. This end is the male end. It goes into the bell-shaped female end. Now, it's got to go all the way out to the chicken yard, and we're going to put some faucets at each corner of this shop. One is here, it's the northwest corner, and this is the southwest corner. We're going to put three faucets in those locations. As anyone has ever done work around the farm or shop, you always need a water connection, and this is all coming from the pump, which is about 500 feet over on that to that direction. Once you're going to see me, I'm going to go ahead and put this pipe together, and the reason I'm putting the direction of travel is going to be from the pipe at that end on the south side to this side to the north side. And as you can see, the direction of the pipe is the bell-shaped end is facing towards the south. The reason being is when we take this subsoil over here on the back of this tractor and we attach that piece of PVC pipe, the intent is to try to reduce the amount of drag that goes in between the joints. So the bell-shaped end should provide some or less friction in order to drag it underneath the ground. The subsoil is going to be probably 1.5 feet, maybe a foot and a half. It's going to drag the pipe under. I'm going to put this whole system together, and then we'll come back to it and you can see how we got this laid out. Got all my PVC purple on the inside and the outside. That's that primer that goes on there. Now, don't get it wrong, I'm not no plumber. This is kind of the way I've always put things in. Quite frankly, it's the way I'm gonna keep doing it. Until somebody tells me a better way that doesn't require all this daggone effort. Well, I don't know if you can see it, but this pipe is quite long. You put it together, it goes all the way. This is 300 foot of pipe. Never dragged this much. pipe with this kind of length with the subsoiler, but I always like chewing something different and see what happens. It goes all the way over here where the trench actually starts. Everything's been glued together. It's been cemented. It's been at least 24 hours so it sits. So I'm sure it's solid. I've already pulled it a couple times. And as I stated earlier, you can see the bell-shaped end is facing south. So hypothetically, as it goes underground, there won't be as much friction. So what I've done here is I put quite a number of knots into it. And then I've got some type 3 nylon, as the military would call it, or 550 cord. And I'm about to wrap around the subsoiler. Stand by while I get it hooked up and we'll show you what we got going on. So here's the setup. I got some 550 cord, type 3 nylon, wrapped around there a couple of times on the subsoiler. Now, hypothetically, the subsoiler was going to go into the ground, and as it does, the pipe will follow along all the way down, all 300 feet, and go straight that way. What we're pulling it with is a little Kubota 37 horsepower. It does pretty good with the subsoiler on there. Shouldn't lose traction, should be good to go. That's the electrical conduit on top of the water pipe. For context, 300 feet of pipe. I think I missed it by 10 feet. But I wasn't gonna cut it unless I needed to, but that's the end of it. And it's gotta go down there to that piece to be spliced in to this side. Figure about 10 feet, but I got a couple extra sticks figuring that was what was gonna happen anyway. So let me go down to the other end and see how it looks. So here we are at the other end. Looks like our contraption actually made it through the process. We're just gonna cut this because it don't make any sense to try to save any of that stuff. So it's about 10 to 12 inches below the ground. Should be fine in South Alabama, as the frost line is, there is none. And then we're gonna tie this faucet into that post right there. So this is day 3 of this project. The only reason this is taking so long is because I had other priorities I had to take care of, but what you can see here is the final product. Now, I've already attached a hose to water the garden, which is over there. And of course, I've got to have a timer on it, so I don't have to get up at 5 or 6 a.m. to do it every other day. But the idea behind the blue pipe over, which is a 2-inch pipe, and of course all the foam that you see accumulated or excess that's come out the top or come out the holes. I drilled holes in the side of that pipe, and then I pushed foam into the holes in an effort to try to insulate that pipe, so I don't have to come out here every year and insulate, do any additional work or do any additional insulation. Hypothetically, it won't freeze, and I'll only have to cover the top as required. And then of course you got your 1-inch pipe, and this is largely the finished product. Other than filling in the hole, I won't bore anyone with filling in a hole. Well, the chicken seems to think it's a good idea. Actually, he's probably being a pain, because that's what that rooster does. He likes to be a pain for some reason. Anyway, I digress. This is the completed spigot at the chicken coop / garden, which is in that over on that side of the pen. And then what we have to do is go along here and mash in all this dirt. And I'll do that with a tractor, so you can get a general idea. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but it's a whole lot easier when you use the subsoiler to close this hole rather than doing a bunch of additional work to close the hole. Then largely you can start driving over it. I mean, that's high pressure Schedule 40 pipe. And I changed my mind. I opted out of putting another spigot on this side over here, only because right now I think I have enough. But you know, that's famous last words. We'll see what happens. So going down to the next section, the connection down at the other end has already been closed up. I missed recording that, and I don't plan on digging up the hole just to look at it. So far, what the water you see there is just the water that was turned on in the spigot to test it out. But I don't have any leaks. I did the same thing with this side here. This is the southwest corner of the shop, and I put a piece of PVC pipe in it around the 1-inch pipe and insulated it with foam. Again, we'll see how it works, but you know, if it cracks, I'll just cut it off somewhere down there. And I guess it's kind of an experiment, I guess you could largely say it's an experiment to see if that foam's going to work. It might not be thin enough, and what I don't know if it is or not, is I don't think this is closed foam. So I think there's air pockets that are in the open foam, and I'm not sure those specific air pockets are going to cause anything to freeze in the pipe. That's why I don't know if it's going to work. But again, if it doesn't, I'll just cut the pipe off and take the spigot out and redo the PVC portion of it. I don't think that'll be a big deal, but I like to check and see if these things are going to work. But this is on both of these spigots are actually on the west side, which hypothetically they should get plenty of heat throughout the day because of their location. The south sun will be that way, and as you can see, both of them way out there, both of them will get a lot of sun. So yeah, we'll see if they collect heat and that kind of thing. And I need to straighten that, it looks like, because it seems like it's canted to the left a little bit. But what we're going to do is I'll bring you back when I'm going to close this hole up and get some video of just running the tractor bucket over it, kind of mashing all this dirt in to try to get it to close up. But that's after we fill in this hole. I don't want to try to go over it without filling in this hole. I guess you could. I mean, I guess it doesn't much matter, but just personal preference, I should say. So one of the final steps here is to seal this hole. I don't know if you can see how that's bumped up. Ideally, be able to smash it down, close up this hole. So we're gonna see how that works. And with any luck, it'll be less work than I anticipate. Well, there's the final product. I went over the hole to seam it up, to stitch it up. That's a good word. To stitch it up, I went over it. I ran the tires along each side, smashed the dirt back in it, and went back over it with the bucket. Put it in the float mode, put pressure on it either way, or in both ways. And then this is what it looks like. It'll heal up and hair over, or grass over if you prefer. And this is where I got the timer on for the hoses. Got a spot here we can take the chicken water out and water the chickens. Man, I'm so extremely happy to finally have water out here. Walking back and forth to fill up the water jug, which is over there, or running water hose all over the place has just been extremely exhausting. And actually, it's not even exhausting, it's just annoying to look at. And you have to get off the lawnmower or get off the tractor and move it so you don't run over it. All those crazy things. You know, some people it might not bother them. It drives me absolutely nuts. So the only thing left to do is follow up by putting a fence up, and I won't bore you with that little piece of this little project. Without further ado, this is Doug from the Crooked Pine. We'll see you again.